cruising at 35,000 feet. Flight 881 was just another routine red-eye until two F-22 Raptors tore through the clouds like silent predators, locking onto the Boeing 737. Terror swept the cabin as the heavily armed fighters boxed the airliner in, missiles ready. Amid the screams sat a quiet 21-year-old in an oversized university hoodie clutching her armrest. Passengers saw a scared college girl. No one knew she was one of the Air Force's most lethal pilots until the radio crackled over the PA, calling her by her classified call sign. Sunlight pierced the scratched window at Seat 7A, throwing long shadows across the packed economy cabin of Pacific Airlines Flight 881 from Seattle to Anchorage. Wedged against the bulkhead was Captain Emma Valkyrie Sinclair, 29, on mandatory leave after a brutal classified mission. She looked every bit the exhausted sophomore, faded gray hoodie, messy ponytail, wire-rimmed glasses, petite frame swallowed by the seat. Next to her in 7B sat Victor Kane, a loud, suited executive in his mid-40s, constantly checking his Rolex and barking orders for whiskey. He'd spent the flight dominating conversations and typing aggressively on his laptop. When he finally noticed Emma, he leaned in with a patronizing grin. "First time flying solo, kiddo? You've been white-knuckling that armrest since takeoff. Don't worry, the pros up front have it handled. It's basically a big bus in the sky." Emma offered a shy smile, playing the part. "Just hate turbulence," she whispered, turning back to the window. If Victor had looked closer, he'd have seen her eyes scanning the horizon with razor-sharp focus, not fear. Her grip wasn't panic. It was habit, reading the airframe's subtle vibrations. Beneath the hoodie, old bruises from high-G maneuvers in her F-22 still ached. She was on leave after nearly tearing the wings off her jet in a dogfight, but her instincts were sharper than ever. The 737 felt painfully slow to her. She noticed the slight shudder in the floor, the off-pitch whine of the right engine, the unusually high angle of attack and constant aileron corrections. They were drifting west, descending slowly without announcement. Something was very wrong. Suddenly the plane pitched forward violently. Passengers screamed as zero-G lifted them against seatbelts. Victor's drink exploded across the ceiling. The aircraft slammed level again, lights flickering to emergency glow. Overhead bins burst open, luggage raining down. Emma didn't scream. She tightened her belt, eyes assessing exits and structural stress. No oxygen masks yet. Cabin pressure held, but they were in an uncontrolled descent. Through the window, two F-22s appeared, one off each wing. Weapon bays open, missiles visible. "They're here to help, right?" Victor gasped. Emma's voice turned ice cold. "They're not escorting us. We're dark, off course, heading into restricted airspace. To them, we're a threat." The left Raptor rocked its wings, visual command to follow. The 737 ignored it, banking erratically toward the second jet. The fighters broke away. One slid behind into firing position. Emma unbuckled and moved fast. She reached the flight attendant. "Open the cockpit door, now. We have less than 2 minutes before they shoot us down." Chaos erupted as the PA crackled with the first officer's panicked mayday. Gyro failure, spatial disorientation, instruments dead. Then a calm military voice cut in on guard frequency. "Oceanic 881, this is Raptor lead. Turn heading 090 or you will be engaged." Emma sprinted back, signaling with her phone flashlight through the window in squadron-specific Morse. "This is Valkyrie." In the F-22, Major Ryan Stryker Brooks froze. He recognized the code instantly. "Raptor lead to 881. There is a USAF captain in seat 7A, call sign Valkyrie. Open the door. Get her in the left seat. 60 seconds or I fire." The cabin fell silent. All eyes turned to the petite girl in the hoodie. Emma shed the sweatshirt, revealing her tactical shirt, and took command. The door opened. Inside, the captain was unconscious, bleeding from a pressure-related injury. The first officer was lost in vertigo, fighting phantom attitudes. Emma hauled the captain out, dropped into the seat, and seized the controls. "I have the aircraft." She ignored the failed screens flying off the backup standby instruments. Pitch 40+ degrees down, banked hard, speed bleeding toward redline. She wrestled the heavy yoke, muscles burning, and dragged the 737 out of its dive just 800 feet above the stormy Pacific. Waves sprayed the windshield. Raptor lead. Valkyrie has the jet. Level at 800 feet. Stryker's relieved voice answered. Good to hear you, Valkyrie. Sliding into formation. With failing hydraulics, jammed elevator, and leaking systems, the jet was dying. They couldn't reach the planned airfield. Stryker guided them toward a short coastal municipal strip, Breton Field, barely 6,000 feet, unlit in the storm. Emma flew on pure skill and asymmetric thrust, matching Stryker's movements. Gear dropped manually. Stryker lit his afterburners ahead, twin blue-orange flames cutting the darkness like beacons. She chased them down, touched down hot and heavy. Tires blew, sparks flew, reverse thrust roared. At the last second, she threw the jet into a controlled sideways drift onto the muddy infield, carving a trench but stopping just short of the trees. Silence, then evacuation. Passengers slid into the rain. Emma was last off, assessing damage until Blackhawks arrived. Colonel Henderson stepped out, saluted sharply. Captain Sinclair, administrative leave rescinded. That was masterful flying. Victor Kane, soaked and humbled, approached. I told you to leave it to the men in the cockpit. Emma smirked faintly. It's basically just a big bus, right? What an edge-of-your-seat story of courage and expertise under impossible pressure. Emma Valkyrie Sinclair showed that heroes don't always wear capes or uniforms on the outside. They can sit quietly in economy, ready when it matters most. Flying demands thousands of hours of training, deep systems knowledge, and the ability to stay calm when every instrument lies and physics fights you. Spatial disorientation has killed experienced pilots because the human inner ear fails without visual references. Redundant backup instruments and manual skills save lives. Never judge capability by appearance. Quiet confidence often hides the most prepared minds. If this story had your heart racing, drop a like, share it with fellow aviation fans, and subscribe for more real-feel thrillers. Tell me in the comments, what would you have done in Seat 7A? Stay safe up there. We'll catch you in the next one.